welcome to Taste of the Place, where every meal is a culinary adventure. My name is Julie Coburn, and welcome to my kitchen. So today we're talking about spices, and spices are one of those groups of ingredients that a lot of people who are new to cooking are really intimidated by, and that's an unfortunate thing because spices can add so much to your meal. They can take a dish from being sort of bland to being exciting with lots of layers of flavor and character. And just adding a spice to a dish can take one meal from one part of the world to another. So today I've gathered just a few of my favorite spices. These are the ones that I recommend you get started with if you're new to cooking or new to the world of spices. So let's take a little spicy culinary journey, and I'll give you a few spice tips along the way. So we're going to start today with the basics, salt and pepper, and then we're going to move on to some more interesting spices. We've got paprika, crushed red pepper, cinnamon, coriander, and cardamom. Okay, so salt and pepper. Everyone should have some good salt and pepper in their pantry because you are going to use them to season almost every dish that you make. So for salt, look for a sea salt or a kosher salt. Now this one that I'm showing you is a fine-grained sea salt, which is perfect for most dishes, including baking. And this is a medium grind Himalayan pink sea salt. It's really good for sprinkling on top of desserts because it's pretty and it has a nice texture. Now what you want to avoid is the typical table salt. It often has some weird stuff added to it, and it's gone through lots of weird processes that have removed most of the nutritional value and taken away a lot of the flavors. So you actually have to use more table salt to season your food. Now on to pepper. These are whole black peppercorns. I recommend that you buy whole pepper and grind it as you need it. Ground pepper only keeps its oomph for a few months at the most, and most of the ground pepper that you're going to find at the grocery store tastes like, well, it tastes like mildly flavored powder by the time you buy it. So simply buy yourself an inexpensive pepper mill and grind your pepper when you need it. You're going to use a lot less and you're going to get a lot more flavor. All right, on to some fun stuff. Paprika. Paprika is dried ground chili. It's got this gorgeous red color, and the flavor can be sweet or spicy, and it can be smoked or unsmoked, and it gives your dishes an earthy, rich quality as well as providing color. So use it to season eggs, potatoes, and spreads like hummus, for example. And you can also dust a bit on top of finished dishes for a pretty red garnish. Paprika is best known in Hungarian and Spanish cuisines. Our next spice is another member of the chili family, crushed red pepper, and it is perfect for adding a layer of heat to soups or stews or Mexican dishes. Use a little or a lot, of course, depending on your taste. And it's also another great spice to use as a garnish. Just sprinkle a little on top and it adds a dash of beautiful red color. Cinnamon is next on our list. You can buy it in sticks or in powder like this, and of course we're all familiar with cinnamon and baking, but it can be used for so much more. Try putting a pinch in your coffee or hot chocolate for a bit of a Mexican twist, or add a dash to stewed meats or veggie dishes to give them a slightly Middle Eastern or North African flair. Moving on to one of my favorite spices, coriander. Coriander is actually the seed of the plant that we know in the US as cilantro. Coriander has a bright, almost citrusy flavor that reminds me a little bit of bergamot, which is the flavor that's added to Earl Grey tea, and it's really common in Asian and Middle Eastern cuisines. Now I like to add a bit to homemade hamburgers, and it's going to be great with carrots or really with any kind of vegetable. So just like with pepper, it's best to buy your coriander whole and grind it as you need it. That's really the only way to get the best flavor out of your spice. Now, I like to use a pestle and mortar, but you can of course use a coffee grinder to do this. But I like the pestle and mortar because I feel more connected to my food. It's a whole sensory experience, and it's just really fun to use. Now I've got a pretty serious set here, and you don't have to have one that's this big, but what you do want to look for is a mortar with a little bit of a rough surface and a pestle that has some weight to it, and that's going to assist you with the grinding process. So to use your pestle and mortar, put just a little bit of spice in the bottom. If you get too much, it's going to be hard to manage and the spices are going to go flying everywhere. All right, so place your hand partially over the mortar to help keep any flying spices at bay, then pound straight down with the pestle. Once it's started to break down, then begin to grind the spices by twisting and moving the pestle across the surface of the mortar until you get the consistency that you're looking for. So there you have it, fresh ground coriander. All right, our final spice, another favorite of mine, cardamom. These are whole cardamom pods, and inside of the pods are the seeds. And this is how I like to buy my cardamom. You don't have to deal with taking the seeds out of the pods, but it retains its flavor much longer than if you buy it ground. Of course, you can buy cardamom ground, but just like coriander and pepper, I recommend grinding it when you need it. Cardamom has an almost haunting flavor. It's a bit minty or eucalyptusy. It's got a natural sweetness, and it's somewhat reminiscent of cinnamon, actually. It's often used in Indian cuisines and is really common in chai tea. So try using it anywhere that you would use cinnamon for a bit of an exotic twist. If you buy the pods, you just need to give them a quick whack to crack them open, then just peel the pod back, and you'll reveal all of those beautiful seeds. Then grind the seeds just like we did the coriander. You can use a coffee grinder, of course, or do it by hand with a pestle and mortar. I so wish you could smell this. Once you start grinding your own spices, you're not going to go back to buying the pre-ground packaged spices that don't have any life. This fragrance fills your entire kitchen, and it's really what food is all about. It's a whole sensory experience. So there you have it. Just a few spices to get you started, but don't stop there. There is an entire culinary world of spices out there, but don't let that intimidate you. Just start with a few that are interesting to you. Start with the ones that I've recommended, or go to your local spice shop or grocery store, taste a few, smell a few, bring them home, try them out just a little bit at a time to begin with, and then go from there. Do it again, go back to the spice store, try a few more, and pretty soon you are going to be trying spices from all over the world. So thank you for watching today. I hope that you have enjoyed this spice episode from Taste of the Place. If you want more great episodes from Taste of the Place, then be sure to subscribe to this station on YouTube or like us on Facebook. Bye-bye for now.